Hey, welcome in everybody. So today what I'm going to try to do is get this eyesore out of the yard. I really don't know if what I have is going to work, but I'm at least going to give it a try. But before I get into cutting into this trunk using the chainsaw and having the tractor help me out, I wanted to kind of go ahead and get some of the dimensions of this tree just for the sake of knowing. So I'm going to do the base part here, get our diameter from probably both sides, go ahead and get the length of the tree, and then it actually widens out kind of towards the back over there. And the reason why I wanted to do that is I want to kind of get a ballpark weight of just how big this trunk is, just for curiosity's sake. So, but before I do any of that, let's go ahead and see what kind of dimensions we're working with here. Of course, this will vary because the tree is not completely circular. So here we're at 52 inches. And that's 53 and a half. That's 4.5 foot just here at the base, roughly. So I have a 2 foot bar. So of course I'm gonna be a little bit short when I start cutting into it. If I just go directly straight down with the blade that I have, I only have a 2 foot bar. But maybe if I can use some leverage with the tractor, I can pull some of it off and try to utilize some of these splits that the tree has in there too. Like I said, we're just going to give this a whirl and see what happens. All right, this next measurement is going to be very much ballpark as I get from that end down to somewhere in this region. I figure the best way to try to go about it maybe be climbing on top. Let's see. This is 180 inches right here. I'll stick with that. It's 180 from the base to this big piece. If I make it this far anyways, I'll have to end up doing that by itself on that end. So I'm gonna get the widest spot, so which it goes from right here, and then there's a branch that the camera probably can't see over here, but they're huge. Again, this will be very ballpark. That looks good. About 109 inches across. So it's 9 foot across. I don't know what 180 inches is. What is that, 15 feet? Somewhere in there. I'll look online and try to find some type of thing where I can calculate these measurements, get a ballpark weight of maybe how much this tree base is. I guess one thing I could do, well, it's kind of hard to get the height because right here, it goes in probably about 1 foot to 1.5 foot from where it was pulled down and made an indentation into the ground. So we'll go for ballpark. Some places are obviously going to be a little bit taller than others just because that's where some branches were. So let's get to it. Okay, I did a quick calculation, just doing an easy search online, trying to do some weight on some wood. So the dimensions that I used was 15 foot long, 9 foot at the larger end, and then the 52 inches here on the close end. And so in the middle, the average between the 9 foot and the 52 inches was 80 inches roughly. So, and with that calculation, and it spits it out in cubic yards and all this kind of other stuff, but it gave a rough estimate of 33,510 pounds. So clearly I don't have a tractor. I don't have any type of machinery that could just move that as one unit. That's why I'm here today. I'm gonna try to piece this. That way we can try to maybe get them into more usable pieces and do some of that, but I just want the log out of the yard, so I gotta start somewhere. All right, chainsaw's fired up. It's time to put the tractor in position. I wanna kinda maybe get the bucket right here, and just for the sake of Obviously, if I'm trying to break down a lot of heavy pieces, it's gonna do a ton of cutting. I don't know, maybe I'll start it around a foot. I'll ballpark it somewhere in there. That way, the pieces won't be too big if they come out into chunks. I was hoping to use these cracks right here that were already there. That's how the tree split to start with, is it was already split. Clearly, there's clearly still a lot in the middle that I've got to take care of. I knew this was going to be hard, but this is already being a lot tougher than I ever thought it was going to be. So I think my approach going forward is kind of probably do the top half down. That way I have a surface to kind of work off of, because that saw is kind of heavy to keep picking up like this. That way I can kind of keep it a little bit lower and then just keep piecing it out through there. I have a wedge, my axe, and I got a crowbar out here too to kind of help pick some of these pieces up and pop them out. But yeah, this is gonna take a good long while. All right, a status update on what I've taken care of so far. So all the chunks that I had already taken out of here, I've picked them up, moved them out to the split pile. And the method that I was going to be keep trying to do was doing the smaller chunks. That way they're a little bit more movable. But I don't have a ripping blade on my chainsaw, and I need to get one just to have in general. But without that ripping blade, it makes it so much more difficult to cut with the grain of the wood instead of across like you normally would when you're using a chainsaw. The rain kind of slowed me down today, but it's just a lot of slow cutting. You can see I've tried to go all the way through here, all the way across the top, which I've been climbing on top of the trunk multiple times, but just trying to get all the way through the middle as good as I can. And then I'll try to take the tractor, take a wedge, take whatever. I really don't care. Just trying to get this thing out of the yard. But we got a long ways to go. This piece and this piece are right here and right here. And actually the one on the left, I could not get that thing cut out of there. So I grabbed my pry bar, and next thing I knew, that whole chunk fell off and the other one remained. But clearly I got it off, but still plenty to go. All right, starting to get to the point where it's going to be kind of tricky, but I think my next approach is to utilize this gap that's under here and try to chunk this piece out so that it has a place to fall before I start trying to get to this other side over here that's a lot more solid. Also don't have the tractor. Who knows how long it's going to be out of service. We have to take it to the dealer. Something with a bush hog. Chip the hydraulic housing on the back. All right, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Still have plenty to go, obviously, right there. But now I've got some big decisions that I've got to make coming forward. So now with this void down here on the bottom, obviously if I start to cut down through the middle, there's a really good chance that I'm going to get the bar of the chainsaw wedged up in the top or wherever that may be. So I'm going to take a few days, kind of ponder this. Hopefully the tractor can come back soon, and we'll keep trying to tackle this thing and take care of it piece by piece, just like that. See you on the next one.